This is a conversation with Musa wa Laikipia. It has been said that we are what we consume. And of course, we have asked ourselves so many questions. What is happening to our generation? We have had so many familicides this week and last week that we have lost count. We have heard of a husband tying a wife and burning her alive. We have heard of families, young people who have killed their parents and children and their siblings. We have heard this week and last week of students going to school with machetes and trying to kill the teachers. We have heard of a young person who killed their grandmother, and yesterday she was able to give a testimony of how she did that. Where are we going wrong? And what is happening to our society? My question today is, has COVID-19 exposed the status of mental health of our children and the young people, or it has just made it worse? A while ago, we were not hearing any type of conversations that we are hearing right now. We could hear, of adults killing each other, which is not the right thing. But right now, we are hearing of young people who are killing their peers, their brothers and sisters, their parents, which is very sad. And that means now that we are what we consume. Our children are learning not from what they hear us say, but what they see us do. And I have said it very many times, and I want to underscore it even today. The fact that the parents carry the biggest burden of what is happening in our society today. We are a generation that was not taught to speak up. We were not even allowed to ask questions. I have a personal experience in school, at home, at the places that I have worked. I was not even allowed to ask any questions. And if I would ask any questions, I was told to be, like I'm rude or something like that. And not allowing us to ask questions have really caused a lot of trouble. My generation also lacks something else, that they do not have anyone to listen to them. When I was growing up, apart from being told to shut up, there was no one to listen to our feelings, to listen to what we were saying. And this is what our generation is suffering from. And this has really contributed to the damage that we can see today. And of course, if you do not listen to a young person, they turn to other sources of help. They turn into substances. They turn into bad company and those kind of things. We are a generation that also has no bond with the family. And our parents were very busy, of course, taking care of us economically, and we ended up being the economic orphans. Yes, we have parents, but the parents who were not available. They gave us money, some of us, but they did not give us time. And this, the reason why I'm putting it as a personal, I don't want to blame some other young people out there that have committed these crimes. And of course, what separates us with them is because we have not done it, and probably it's only a matter of time. And therefore, we need to talk. I pose a challenge to myself and all the parents that are bringing young people today. We need to invest time in our children. We need to use that time to guide them. Of course, it has been said, the Bible talks about it, that if you bring a child in a certain way, they will not depart from those ways even when they are old. And therefore, if as parents we do not dedicate time to speak to our children, who do you think is going to speak to them? The movies? Their peers? The music? Have you even listened to today's music and what topics are in those music? And therefore, you need to also participate as a parent to make sure that you offer a good foundation for your children. Then we should check the kind of content that our children are glued on their phones and laptop screens. There should also be a rule of gadgets used in the family. And also this applies to parents. There's no way you will put a rule to the children and you're always glued to your phone and laptop 24/7. You do not even have time for your children. And therefore, if you put a rule that there are no gadgets when people are eating dinner, don't get onto your phone and start checking WhatsApp and start checking Facebook. You're putting a spoon and you're even missing your mouth and you're telling your children they should not, you should practice what you preach as a parent. You must also do detoxification of media in your house. Sometimes switch off the Wi-Fi. Sometimes switch off your phone. I love, and I don't mean this to be proud or anything. I have what I call the 2 hours of detoxification every day for myself. I switch off my phone completely. I switch off the internet completely. And I will either sleep for 2 hours or I will take a walk for 2 hours, just making sure that I take a break. Even if I work for media, even if that is where I get my money from, I also do detoxification. Like yesterday, I was in a place called Dodo. There was no internet the whole day. I took that as a day that, this week I have detoxified myself. Another thing that we can help is to create a family time, at least once a week. I know we are very busy, but it is very important, at least to share about, sit around the table. Very simple, because the parents will ask me, Moses, what will be the topic that we are going, am I going to preach? I'm not a pastor. No, sit down around the table. Ask the young people, what is one thing that you are thankful for this week? What is one of the things that have challenged you this week? This one will create a mentor, like a schedule to your children or your family, that once a week we sit down and talk as a family. And as a father, as a mother, you'll be able to see this young person is changing. There is something that is not right with this young person. Yesterday, I was speaking to a parent that was telling me, Moses, I've noted there is something wrong with my child. And that is what I'm talking about. You cannot know that there's something wrong with your child if you're not spending time with your child. And therefore, one of my friends, another example, I like using live examples. One of my friends was telling me, because some parents might complain, oh, my husband is in Nairobi, oh, I am this place, I'm this far, I cannot be able to reach my children and my family and have a meeting every week. Let me challenge you. This week, I was visiting with one of my friends who lives out of the country, and I was really challenged. They told me every Sunday at 8:30 in the morning, that is, in US, it's about midnight, they sit down as a family. The father is in US. The mother is here, and children and grandfather and grandmother and the people in the family. And they do a devotion. They have a person who is leading the service. They sing. The people are calling in through Zoom and some of these media that are there. And they do a fellowship of about 2 to 3 hours every week. Therefore, I'm asking you, what is the reason that you do not do a family meeting every week? As I conclude, I want to say that bringing up a responsible generation is a collective responsibility for both young and old to seek help instead of, taking hasty action. Let's all be responsible and always think before taking any action. Let's all be responsible and always think before taking any action. Let's all be responsible and always think before taking any action. This is a conversation with Musa or Laikipia. Your views and suggestions of how we can make our generation better than we found it are welcome. Comment under this video. You can also inbox me. Let us know how we can have this conversation. And of course, I call upon all of us to do a roundtable. Parents, you're welcome. Teachers, you're welcome. The government is welcome on this conversation. Come, let's talk. And probably, it has been said, and of course, I believe this is true. Let's keep talking, because the moment we stop talking, it will be the moment that we start fighting. This has been your host, Musa Laikipia, a personal development consultant and a youth mentor. And this is my opinion.